Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel Books Natasa, and today I'm doing another book recommendations video and I just can't wait to dive in and share with you all the books that are on this list because some of them are a few favorites of mine, so let's just get straight into it. The trope for today's video is Second Chance, and it has become one of my all-time favorite tropes. I love the storyline, and especially sometimes when it's a pregnancy involved is amazing, but usually I really do like it, and especially when it's a small town romance and it's also a second sense. That is my go-to. I mean, perfection. So let's just get straight into all these books because I can't wait to talk to you guys about. First, I'd just like to point out that there will be a few uh, books from one author here because they do write a lot of second chance that I have loved, but still it's totally worth it to check out, so keep an eye out for that. First book on this list is of course The Clover Chapel, book number 2 in the Jameson Valley series by David Perry, and I have talked about this book so many times in this channel and I have read it so many times and I don't see stopping anytime soon. And this book follows Nick and Annalyn who get married in Vegas, and then something happens and Nick leaves Amy, and then fast forward 9 years later they are still married, but she's still trying to find Nick so she can get a divorce. But as fate will have it, she moves into Fresco. That's where Nick has been living for the past few years, and they end up meeting again. And Nick sees it as his second chance, even though Amy is with another guy. But it turns out the most amazing thing. Nick is a bit pushy at first, but I did love his character a lot, and his relationship with Emmanuel is just amazing. They are the sweetest, and I just love the dynamic and everything. It's just, this book is just amazing and I love rereading it, so definitely check it out. Next we have my favorite book of last year, and that is What Was Meant to Be by QB Tyler. This is the newest release by QB Tyler and one of my new favorite books of all time. I mean, I should have expected no less from Jupiter, but she really outdid herself with this book. I mean, we have Second Chance, Age Gap, Forbidden Romance, we have Godfather, Goddaughter, Trope, which I wasn't sure about, but Whitney JP are just soulmates. I love this book so much. We start by going into this book that we get an announcement that Whitney is engaged, and JP, when he hears about this, he basically loses his shit and he's like, I need to go back because he has left, he broke up with Whitney and left because he felt like he was too old for her and all that usual stuff, and he didn't want to come clean to her parents because they are his best friends and all that, so they end up breaking up. So it's a few years later now and he hears about the engagement, and he's like, I need to go back and try to get my girl back because this will be my last chance, and but if she's happy I will back off. But as soon as he gets there, the chemistry between them is explosive. I mean, but Whitney really, he doesn't want to give in to her attraction and feelings towards Jacob because she really did break her heart. She was a mess when he left and barely made it through. So now that he's back and wants to another chance, she's engaged. So a little bit of warning, there is cheating in this book, and if just be careful if that is something that triggers you, but for me it isn't, and especially this one, I just loved it. Also, it doesn't hurt that the guy that she was supposed to meet is a jackass, but still. So yeah, when they end up getting together again, it's amazing, and we see them like no time has passed, and I just love that so much. I really think that Gibby Tyler has become one of my all-time favorite authors. There isn't one book by her that I don't love, and especially this one I have reread so many times. Next we have Reckless Memories, which is book number 1 in the Wrecked series by Catherine Cowles. I recently read the entirety of Catherine Cowles' books, and this one was one that I haven't read before. This sort of trope is a dead sister, significant other, something like that. But this trope really did turned out really good because Catherine Cowles did an incredible job writing it. I mean, I don't think anyone can do this good of a job as her. I mean, the way she resolved it at the end was just amazing, and I really loved Ford and Belle's relationship, and I love how in the beginning Ford basically the Ford, Belle, and her sister Violet get into a car accident when they were in high school, and Violet dies, and Belle is super hurt, and Ford is basically okay, but he's suffering with survivor's guilt. But then that doesn't help that her parents is basically blaming her for that, so he leaves. And fast forward a few years later, he comes back to help his parents, but I believe because his father had a heart attack. So yeah, as soon as he goes back in, he's like, oh my god, I miss so much from her life, and I really want to get back to the way things were. But they start to notice each other as a man and a woman, and not as the kids that they used to be, and they start to realize that they always had feelings for one another, but they need to be able to accept the fact that they're not betraying her sister in order to act on them. And I just love how Catherine Cowles did the whole story and how she portrayed and wrote everything, because there wasn't 1 inch of disrespect in this book, and I just love that. Also, it was super emotional. I cried so much during this book. The pain and the raw trauma in this book was just so heartbreaking, but this book definitely was worth it, and I highly recommend you guys read it. We have Garnet Flat, which is book number 3 in the Eden series by David Perry. And then you have probably seen this series all over Bookstagram and YouTube, because a lot of people have started discovering it, and with good reason. This book has to be my least favorite, but I have reread it many times. The only reason that it's my least favorite because I really don't like the male character, but I really do love Talia. So yeah, it's a controversial opinion with this book. So basically, we have Talia and Ford that they used to date back when she was in college, and they had all these plans and to move in together, to get married, and all that. They were basically perfect for one another. But then something happens, and Foster ends up marrying her best friend, and that just breaks her. So fast forward a few years later, she lives in a small town with her family. She works as a doctor in that small town. So that's when Foster moves into the town to try and win her back after his divorce. So yeah, I really did enjoy this book. I gave it like 4 or 5 stars. It was really good. But I really didn't like Foster. He came out like super pushy from the start, and I was like, the nerve on this guy. I mean, when goes and marries her best friend, he's like, are you dating another guy? I mean, are you serious? I mean, she doesn't owe him anything, and I was so happy when she slammed the door in his face. It was just amazing. But yeah, it turns out pretty good, and I really did love it, so give it a try. Next, we have Whispers of You, which is the book number 1 in Lost and Found by Catherine Cowles. This is her newest series that came out January, and this book was just incredible. I mean, she goes with each series, it gets better and better, and I didn't think that was possible. I mean, in this one we have soulmates, friends to lovers, second chance, so many tropes, and basically we have Holt and Ren that they from friends went to lovers back in high school, and they used to live together. They were basically the perfect couple, and then one night Ren gets attacked and shot, and Holt finds her, and it's really traumatizing for him. So he blames himself, so he leaves her because she can't bear to face her. So fast forward a few years later, Ren is still recovering from all that. She has PTSD, she has a lot of stuff that she hasn't dealt with because the only person who really understands her and is Holt, but Holt has left and she's left heartbroken. But now Holt comes back to reunite basically with his family because his father had a heart attack and they really shook him. So now that he's back, he starts to notice Ren and he's like, he's more beautiful than I remember, and the feelings are still there, but the heart is also still there. And Ren can really forgive him because she doesn't blame him for getting shot. She blames him for leaving her, and I just love how they resolve that and how they are able to get past that and basically start afresh. And I just love the relationship so much. I do find Holt a bit annoying at times with the whole protection thing, but I really do understand it. He has a lot of trauma from what happened to Ren, but still love this book for 5 stars. The final book on this list is Tattered, which is book number 1 in the Trope series by David Perry, and this book follows Logan, who we meet in the Clover Chapel, and Logan and I'm really sorry I don't remember the girl's name because it's been a few weeks since I read the book. I guess so. Basically, they have one night stand in New York, and then but they really did connect, and the chemistry was explosive. So she gets pregnant and tries to find him, but she doesn't know his name, and basically no one is willing to tell her. So basically, she has to move back home in her small town to raise the child because she needs her family and support. So yeah, fast forward a few years later, I think the child is like 4 or 5 years old, and Logan is going to this town for work and ends up meeting her, and one look into the daughter, he's like, this is my daughter, and he goes to confront the girl and he's like, I really looked for you and I couldn't find you, this is our daughter, I don't expect anything from you, but if you want to meet her, it's okay. And he's like, of course I want to meet her, but they are also super attracted to one another, and he has his life in New York, he doesn't want to leave. She really thinks that she needs to stay in this small town in order for her daughter to raise in a happy place with family and support. So they are in 2 different places, so they don't see the point in getting together, but they do. And Logan is like super pushy with them moving to New York, but she really doesn't want to leave. So they are at a crossroads, but I really love how in the end Logan steps up and is actually there for his family, and it's like the best decision he ever made, and I just love it. I have no idea if I'm going to continue with the series, but because it's not my cup of tea, this particular series, but we'll see. Maybe I will pick up one book every few months, we'll see. But this book, totally worth it. So that's it for my recommendations for this video. Hope you find some good reads for you guys. So like, subscribe, and stick around. Click on the notification bell down below so you'll be notified when I post. And I will see you for my next video very soon. Bye!